The world is currently telling you a story about your own limitations. You hear it in the headlines, you see it in the data, and you feel it in the air. The economy is failing. That may be true. But for the man without leverage, the economy is always a threat, regardless of whether the graphs are green or red. Most people spend their lives reacting to the weather of the markets. They argue about politics as if a ballot will solve their lack of positioning. They wait for better conditions, hoping for a return to a stability that was always an illusion. Bland feels productive because it provides an exit strategy for your ego. If the system is broken, then your stagnation is not your fault. But while blame is a comfort, it produces exactly zero equity. The economy is not your primary obstacle. Your lack of leverage is. Hard cycles do not destroy everyone. They simply act as a filter. They remove the fragile and reward the structural. When capital becomes expensive and jobs become scarce, the world stops paying for presence and starts paying exclusively for value. Leverage is the difference between a man who works for his money and a man whose work works for him. It is the architecture of your life. Most are trading their time for a linear return, a one-to-one ratio that can never scale and can never provide true security. When the market shifts, they have nothing to fall back on because they have built no systems that exist outside of their own physical exhaustion. Strategic identity begins when you stop looking for a paycheck and start building an asymmetric advantage. Leverage is the digital skill that pays you repeatedly for a single hour of deep work. It is the audience that grants you distribution without a marketing budget. It is the reputation that precedes you into rooms you haven't entered yet. It is the transition from being a tool in someone else's system to becoming the architect of your own. This is not about hustle. Hustle is a low-leverage activity. Hustle is just more volume applied to a broken process. The elite builder does not move faster. He moves with more weight. He stacks skills that compound. He understands that in a digital era, the cost of replication is zero, which means the upside for the prepared is infinite. While the majority is paralyzed by the news, the strategic minority is busy stacking assets. They know that volatility is the best time to reposition. When everyone else is panicking, the price of entry into new markets drops. When everyone else is complaining, the noise floor lowers, making it easier for a clear voice to be heard. You must decide which identity you are going to inhabit. The reactive man says, "I hope things improve." The strategic man asks, "How do I position myself while others are distracted?" The economy is an external variable you cannot control. Leverage is an internal structure you must build. One leaves you at the mercy of the cycle. The other allows you to transcend it. Discipline is not just about waking up early. It is about the cold, calculated refusal to remain dependent on a single point of failure. It is the self-respect required to say no to comfortable mediocrity so you can say yes to structural power. Most people fail because they think in seasons, while the elite think in decades. A recession is a 3-year event, but a lack of skill is a 30-year sentence. If your income is tied to a single permission-based structure, you are not an owner. You are a tenant in someone else's empire. Leverage is the process of buying back your future. It is the transition from labor-heavy to capital-heavy, or code-heavy. These are the only 3 ways to decouple your wealth from your heartbeat. If you are not building one of these 3, you are simply waiting for the inevitable. Refined power is quiet. It happens in the dark. It happens when you stop seeking someone to blame and start seeking a way to scale. The man who blames the economy is admitting he has no agency. The man who builds leverage is admitting he has no excuses. You cannot control the interest rates, but you can control the scarcity of your talent. You cannot control the inflation of the currency, but you can control the inflation of your value. The world is currently in a state of mass distraction. This is the greatest gift a builder could ask for. While the crowd is shouting at screens, you can be building the systems that will eventually own those screens. A high-leveraged life is built on the rejection of the average. Average consumption, average reactions, average expectations. If you want to be unshakable, you must become unrecognizable to those who are satisfied with being victims. If the economy does not improve for the next 5 years, where does that leave you? Are you still waiting for permission to succeed? Or have you built something that the world cannot ignore? Conditions are temporary. Leverage is permanent. The filter is working. Which side of it are you on?